Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about switching teams when it's hard to do so. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, there is a new project at my company coming up. It's just in the planning stage, but I am very excited about it because it's going to be a team dedicated to dealing with payments and transactions. I'm working in a really awesome team today, and we have a great working relationship, and we're practically all friends. So I feel a little bit bad about moving from this team and potentially going into another team to work on this other project. What should I do? Well, I would say that if it was me, I would go to the new project. I would. The reason is very simple because one part is that you've already expressed that this is something that you want to do. And I believe that if you ever feel, regardless of what it is, a sensation that is strong enough that it moves you to action, you should go with that action. There is a it's a rare thing. It's a very I will say so at the very least for me personally. It's a very rare thing that you feel so strongly about something that you're willing to act to actually do something about it. And if you get to that point, you should act, because then clearly this is something that is important to you. And I think that you lose a little bit of yourself whenever you get that emotionally invested into something and then you end up not doing it because of reasons. You should go through that experience, I think. But at the end of the day, you are who you are, and you have to decide whether or not staying the way you are and being where you are with your current team is going to be what's right for you. All I can say to you is that, at least from my experience, everything changes over time. Nothing stays constant, everything changes. And you could say no to this opportunity, and it might have been the best thing ever, because it might turn out that you get fired or that team doesn't succeed, or like stuff happens and all of a sudden it turns out that you saved your skin or you saved your ass. You're no way of knowing how it's going to turn out when you go over to that other project. Maybe you hate everybody there, who knows. But on the other hand, your team, the way you are right now, you could get fired. They could both leave, like the people who you work with, they could all leave. uh, you could also there's so many things that could change the way that your relationship with your current team works, that you can't be certain either that that's going to stay around forever. And that's why I think that you should embrace change and ask the question that I always ask myself before I make any type of decision. If I ever Whenever I get to that point where I actually feel emotionally that I need to act, if you don't feel strongly one way or another, or you're unsure or stuff like that, then that's a whole different story. But here you clearly explain to me that you are actually feeling something towards this. You want to do things. And at that point, you should go, at least what I do, is that I ask, if this turns out well for me, and if I give it, am I willing to give? Of course, I'm assuming here you're willing to really go in for this and actually give it your all. If I give this my all, will I be a better version of myself when I'm done? Because I trust me when I say that you go into this team and maybe it's an awesome place and it's like even 10 times better. Even if that happens, before you know it, that thing also is boring, and now you need to move on to the next thing. That's life. You go from one thing to the next thing. You stay a little while, let the whole thing ferment, and you absorb the experiences from that thing, and then the next thing starts, and that continues until you die. And I think that you should think about every single choice that you have in that manner. Is this thing, if I give it my all, likely going to make me better? Is it going to make me stronger? Is it going to make me happier? It's going to put me in a position that is better than where I am today? And if you feel in your heart of hearts that yes, this is very likely, then you should go for it. So, what I want you to take away from this is that if you ask me whether or not you should stay in a company or a team, in this case, that is very friendly and like you enjoy the environment, or if you should go into another team where you have a lot of growth potential and things like that, I think that you should ask yourself if you're willing to act on this. There are many people who like think that, oh, this, it would be cool to get into shape, or it would be cool to make a lot of money and stuff like that. And sure, all of that is true. If you could just press a button, it just magically happens. But very few people are in the emotional state they need to be in order to actually invest. If you're willing to invest, if you know that this thing here is actually something that you really want to be a part of, and you're willing to do the work to make that a success, you should act, because change is constant. You have no guarantees that your perfect situation with your current team is going to stay the way that it is forever. And before you know it, you might go the same route that most teenagers go. You are super best friends in high school, and then all of a sudden you get into your 20s and your 30s, and you get kids, or you get jobs, or like you move away and you start drifting apart. It's a natural process of life. Something ends and something new starts, and the only thing that I think that you should always consider before you make that move is, do I feel fairly confident that I can do this, and that if I do this I will actually be better for it. Have a great day.